All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and oh yeah, because it's part of this. So this is the recording for because there's some people that are absent. So the first thing you're gonna do is it's a longer expression. So the first thing you gotta do is you gotta look for your parentheses, which means distributed property multiplication. All right, 5 plus 3. A lot of kids want to add 5 plus 3 because that's the first thing they see. So remember, the first thing you have to look for is distributive property. So where is it? Well, here's a parentheses, right? Right here. So this is just kind of a review. So I'm going to go ahead and circle all that. See that? Right? And then some kids are going to do the arrow, which is fine. Okay? Positive, right? Two arrows because there's two terms inside the parentheses. All right, and then go ahead and multiply, right? So positive times negative is negative, right? And then, ooh, there's a national lockdown. Oh. And then in Ireland. And then 3 times 2x is 6x. Now, if you know how to do this, go ahead. Go ahead and see if you get it right. All right. For those that are having a little bit more need to, I guess, follow me, then follow me. All right. So positive times negative is negative, and then 3 times 1 is 3. See that? So there's your answer. Now, some kids would do this. Positive 3 times negative 2x minus 1, and that's fine. Okay? So then you're multiplying. Positive times negative is negative. 3 times 2 is 6x, right? Don't drop the negative 1. Don't drop the negative 1. Okay? You still have to multiply. Positive times negative is negative. 3 times 1 is 3. See how you get the same thing? All right. Now, what happens to the minus minus? See, now, if there's no number, you could always put a 1 right here. It's the same thing. So minus 1. So negative, see, times negative is a positive. So I'm going to drop it all the way down here. And then 1 times 3 is 3. Okay? Or you could have done this. Negative, negative, negative times negative. You could have done a positive. It's the same thing. All right? You could always put a 1 in front of all the parentheses that you see. All right? And then what happens to the 5? Let's see. Emily Cervantes. What happens to the 5? Bring it down. So now, once you're done multiplying, all you got to do is now combine like terms, right? So now, okay, so now let's do the 5 plus the negative 3, right? Plus what? Another one? Yeah, see, now there's like 3 of them. So now you could go ahead and do the t-chart, okay? So that's 5 minus 3 plus 3. Oops, sorry, plus 3 here. So now you have a total of how many positives? 8, right? 8 positives and 3 negatives. So what's my answer? Positive. Emerson, what's my answer? Emerson, what would be my answer with this one? What would be my answer for that? What would be my answer for this one? 5 minus 3 plus 3. So what's 5 take away 3? 5 take away 3 is not 5. What's 5 take away 3? No. 5. If you have $5 and you take away $3, 2, okay. And then 2 plus 3? Right, so you have 5, okay. And then what happens to the negative 6? Since we're with Emerson, what do? Bring it down. Because you can't, there's no other x, right? Is there another way to write this? Yeah, sometimes an answer will be negative 6 will be first, all right, the first term, and then the plus 5. And usually it's written like this, all right? And then there's your answer, okay? So far, so good? All right, I'm going to pause it right now. Record. Okay, so the next problem It's basically minus a minus 3x minus 3 times negative 4x plus 2 plus negative 9. All right. So remember, you have to look for your what? Your parentheses. All right. So look, this is a parentheses minus a minus 3x. Well, I could always put a 1, right? So here I could always put a 1, right? You don't have to, but what's negative times a negative, right? That's a positive. Remember, we would do the, and then 1 times 3x is 3x. So in other words, we just do a positive. You see that? Now we have a distributive property, right? Right here. So the negative times the negative. See that? Because there's a parenthesis. And then the negative times the positive. All right, so what's negative times negative? So let me go ahead and call individuals randomly. So I'm going to call, let's see, Emily Hernandez. What would be my answer for the first one if I distribute the negative 3 with the negative 4x? Positive 12. Very good. 12x. Remember, when I say when I distribute, that means multiply, all right? And then the next one is, how about Andrew? Andrew, what would I get if when I distribute the negative 3 times the positive 2? Negative 6. Negative 6. And then what happens with the plus negative 9? We just drop it down, right? But Mr. Y, well, look, if I put a 1 here, remember I told you put a 1, plus times negative is negative, and 1 times 9 is 9. See? We're just dropping it down. So remember, when you're multiplying with the negative, it changes the sign. Look, the negative 4 is now a positive, but then you got to multiply. The signs change. See that? The signs change. So negative and negative is a positive. When you multiply. Very good. Yeah, only when you multiply. Very good. Good question. Negative times a negative is a positive. All right, not negative plus a negative. No, 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 no. That's where a lot of kids. Now, what am I going to combine? What am I going to combine? Well, let's do the x's. I'm going to put 2 lines. So that's a positive 3x with the what? Anybody? With the positive 12x, right? So look, what's 3 plus 12? 15x. See that? Now I'm going to go ahead and combine the constants. Here's negative 6 plus another negative 9. A lot of kids are going to put plus 15. Is that my answer? No, because remember, you're not multiplying here. You already did that on the first step. You're not going to multiply, then multiply again. So here you have to do the t-chart. Okay, negative 6, negative 9. What's my answer? Negative what? Anybody? Just shout it out real quick. Say it loud. Anybody? Don't worry, nobody's looking at you. 15x negative 15. Yes, minus 15. Thank you very much. Thank you. So there's your answer. In a quiz, I'm going to give you both answers, A and B. And some other ones, you're like, oh, man, he tricked us. Don't trick us. But yeah, I have to because some of the state tests are like that. All right. So there you go with number 2. All right. So that's number 2. So I'm going to pause it real quick. All right. All right. So the next one we're going to do is as follows. This is number 3. And remember, this one is 4 minus a minus 3x plus 7 plus negative 5 minus negative 6. Now, if you sometimes get confused, see how there's a minus? You could always put a 1. Some kids do this. No, don't. It's not 4 times negative 3x. It's 4 minus. So I'm just going to put a 1 right there. If you want, you could put a 1 right? I'm going to put a 1 right there. I'm going to put a 1 right there. All right, so now you're multiplying, right? So what do you do? See, that's another trick. You know, that's a trick that I did in high school. You're like, oh, I'm just going to put a 1 when it's minus 1, when there's no number. And then you get it. So what happens with the 4? Comes down, right? Now let's go ahead and do minus. Oh, let me do a different color. So let's go ahead and do minus times negative. Negative times a negative is a positive, right, Emerson? You got that one? And then 1 times 3x is 3x. See that? negative times a positive is negative, and then 1 times 7 is 7. See what happened to the sign? The sign's just changed, right? Because you multiplied by a negative. So that negative is now positive, and that positive is negative. But now you got to do the multiply by the 1 or by the...
What if it's a negative and a positive? Is it still a positive or?
Negative times a like this one, look. Negative times a positive is negative. You see that? That's the only one that you got to worry about. Negative times a positive or positive times a negative is negative. Or you could do the face. This only happens for multiplication. Positive times negative, I'm left with the negative. Negative times positive, I'm left with, oh, you can't see it. I'm left with the negative. All right. Now, what about here? Plus negative, oh, positive times negative is negative, and 1 times 5 is 5. See how the parentheses disappeared? See that? And then here, negative times a negative is a positive, and 1 times 6x is 6x. See? Before, we were just doing this, and that's fine. But this will allow you to understand, oh, okay, we're multiplying by itself. Oh, okay. So now what do we do? Combine like T-chart. All right, so what am I going to combine? Odalis. What am I going to combine? What am I going to circle? Odalis? How about Brian? Let's try Brian. Hopefully Brian's there. What am I going to circle?
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. What am I circling? The 3x with what?
6x.
Right, yeah. So what's 3x plus 6x?
9x.
Yeah, that's easy, right? That's easy. So take them out, right? So now I have the constants. All these numbers, I could, the 4, the -7, and the -5. So I'm going to do a T-chart with all those numbers. So let's see. 4, positive, -7, -5. Right? So here I have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 12 negatives. So this is, I'm going to take that out and put 12 negatives. So now what's my answer? Positive or negative? Which one has more? Negative, right? By how many? Anybody? Emily, Cervantes? Emily, what's your answer? Cervantes. Anybody? The Emily, anybody, any Emily? Negative 8, yes. How did you get negative 8? You subtract it. So there's your answer. 9x minus 8. 9x minus 8, okay? And then when you do the video, you can always stop. So on this next problem, we have a long expressions, right? And then we got parentheses, right? See parentheses? So that means your multiplication. You're multiplying something, all right? So what are we multiplying? We're distributing. For the first one, we're distributing the 5. 5 times everything. So I'm going to do how many arrows? If you want to do the arrows or the box, it doesn't matter. All right. See, if you're doing the box, you go 5. And then you could do this. But just be careful. Okay. So positive times negative is negative. 5 times 3x is what? What's 5 times 3x right there? 15x, right? So negative 15x. Right there. The next one, positive times positive is positive, but what's 5 times 4y? Let's see, Cordova. Cordova will do this box, and then Odalis, you'll do the next box. This is Odalis, and this is Cordova. What would be my answer there, Cordova? No, she's not there. Oh, Cordova. Oh man. So anybody can jump in. Carlos, what would you get here?
20 Positive 20y.
Very good. And Odalis, the next one?
10.
Positive or negative?
Positive.
Well, look at, we have positive times negative. What's positive times negative?
Negative.
Oh, negative. You see that? Oh, ipa. Drink some water. Go drink some water. All right, so then the next one, we have the same thing. We have negative 3 times this entire expression. So we're going to go ahead and do the arrows on this one. Okay, I'm not going to do the box because I did on that one. So then you go do the same thing. So Jose, what's the first one? So we'll do Jose, Emily Hernandez, and Andrew. So the first one, Jose, what do we get?
Oh, it's 5. Positive 5.
Did you? But you have to multiply. Remember, you have to multiply.
Wait. Oh, for the first one?
Yeah, right here.
You have to multiply that one?
Yeah, that's what we've been doing for the past half hour, buddy. Where you been?
It's 6x.
There you go, Papa. There you go. Come on, man.
And then it's negative 6.
Hey, you can't tell it for other people. Okay, negative 6y. And the last one, Andrew.
Positive 24.
Positive 24. There you go. See how it's now it's a longer expression? Now we got to do is combine like terms. So which one am I going to combine? The negative 15? Odales with which one? The negative 15x with what?
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, I know, because you're not in the class. Negative 15x with what? What other x?
Positive 6x.
Yes, thank you. Positive 6x. So then you have to do the t-chart. Okay? You guys got to pay attention. Don't get distracted. Okay? So my answer is negative what? 9x because I subtract. So I'm done with the x's. Now, how about the y's? 20y with what? Well, I see this one. That's the negative 6y. So 20y with the negative 6y. What's my answer there? Brian. What's my answer there? Positive what?
14.
14y. Very good. And then the next one is what? Negative 10, the constant, with the plus 24. So yes, very good, Hector. Oh, Hector's here. And then what's the last one, Hector? Negative 10 plus 24. Negative 10 plus 24. Use your calculator. I don't care.
Isn't that like 14?
That isn't that? No, it is like 14. So let's go ahead and put positive 14. And then there's your answer. All right, there's your answer right there. Bam. Okay. So let me go ahead and stop the recording for this problem. All right, so in this problem, as I was mentioning it, we got right here, negative 9 plus 8 times. We got a parentheses right there. So the distributive property starts with the positive 8. The positive 8 is going to be distributed, meaning it's going to be multiplied with the negative 3 and then with the negative 6. All right, and then here you have a negative. I could put a negative 1, right? So you're going to multiply it with the negative 3a. All right, so now let's go ahead and do the work. So here we go. So positive times negative is what? Negative. And then what's the first one right here? Hector, what would I get? 8 times 3a. Right here. Isn't that 24a? Yes. Thank you. And then the next one is what? Positive times negative is negative. And then 8 times 6? Anybody? Just shout it out.
Negative 48.
Negative 48. See that? Then the next one right here. Negative times negative is a positive. And then 1 times 3 is 3a. Basically, it's that positive thing, right? Because there's no number. And then positive 2a stays by itself. And then the negative 9 just drops down. Now what do you got to do? Combine like terms, right? So what am I going to combine? The A's, right? Right here. The negative 24A with which one else? Let's see. Emily Cervantes, are you here? Are you here? No. How about Cordova? Are you here? Oh, I called you earlier and you didn't answer. So the negative 20, redeem yourself. The negative 24A, I'm going to combine it with which other A? The 3A. What else? Ah, there you go. So look, right here I could do 3 plus 2 is 5. I could take care of that. That's 5A. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the T-chart with 5A and the negative 24A. So what's my answer? What's my answer, you guys? Anything? Negative what? Negative, well, I have to subtract, right? So negative 19A. All right, so now let's take it out. Okay, and then Jose, what am I going to, the negative 9, I'm going to add with what?
The 48.
The negative 48, right? And so,
48.
and what's going to be my answer?
Huh?
What's going to be my answer?
Oh, negative 57.
Negative 57, very good. Can I write negative 19A plus a negative 57? Is that the same thing? Yeah.
No, because it's
You know, but it's the same thing. See how it's negative 57 minus? You're just adding a negative 57. See? It's the same thing.
Oh, I see now.
It's the same thing. So, see that? These two are the same thing. Minus 57 is the same. See, you're used to keep, change, change. Watch this. Keep, change, change. That's what you guys see. So the plus and then the minus. See, you're used to doing that, but we don't want to do that because, see, it all gets messed up. So just circle it, but it means the same. All right, let me go ahead and stop.